Oh no. Shoot. Okay, well, let's make this fun. It's just you guys get a little extra bonus feature there for that one. So here we go.
It's Rusty Diamond.
Boom! Boom, Miss Rusty. Boom, Miss Rusty. Yo, man, here we go. It is Nope, it is not Tuesday. It is Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday, so I don't believe today can be Tuesday as well. So that's okay. But today it's Wednesday, so we're going. And this is my show. I think it's the only show I'm doing today. So this is gonna be nice, and it's awesome. I get to have a special guest on here. And why not? I hope I didn't lose her. Which I guess I did not. So I'm gonna bring her in here, and the special guest, is here, and is here right now. And that special guest is Erika. How you doing, Erika?
I am better than amazing, and hoping you are too, Rusty.
I am. I love that answer. That's great. I hope that travels around and you get to say that more often than not. And I hope other people are picking up on that too. I might end up saying that. I think that's a great way to hear that and have other people hear that. And I think it's a good message.
I agree.
So yeah, so okay, so we were talking right before. So you are, part of the crew, which I've had, I don't even know. I think it's 4 or 5, and I think, I don't even know. I think Hezekiah was the first, but it might not have been Hezekiah. It might have been Chavita. But I think I've had, Hezekiah,
Chavita, yes.
Black Diamond, and I think there were 2. Who am I forgetting? I'm not sure right now. I'd have to look at my notes. But I mean, everyone I've loved, and I keep saying, whoever else you have from the crew, send them my way, because I'd love to have them on. So I was wondering how you became affiliated with them, how you became a member, partner, how that happened.
So what happened was I met Angela before COVID. We were supposed to do something, but COVID happened. And then life happened. And one of my good friends, Alma Thomas, she invited me to be the guest of her debut of her podcast. And when I saw what they was doing, I said, I need to be a part of this, because I've always been interested in having my own podcast. And I was like, I know Angela is someone I can learn from. And since I've been a part of the crew podcast, it's been blessings on top of blessings.
Yeah, and so that was, I forgot Angela and Alma, both of them too were on the show. So I think that's at 5 right now. So I think you might be number 6. So
Okay.
I mean, that's awesome. So you saw that that Angela was just doing it. I mean, it was, everything. And so then that was inspiring to you, and you had an idea for a podcast before that, or was it just something that was sort of floating around your head then, or what was going on with that?
So I tried my hand at podcasts. I was on Spotify for a second. I did something through my website, but I wasn't consistent. Wasn't drawing the crowd, wasn't bringing the people in. So I just kind of just gave up. But then when I saw the opportunity to grow with Angela and to learn the business for myself, I said, I definitely need to be under her leadership.
I think that's a great reason to do that, and it's a good idea with that. And so did you continue your podcast or did you start a new podcast?
So I kind of got away from what I was doing, but my podcast with Angela is called Aries Joint. I'm More Than a Woman, and we meet every first and third Tuesday. So yesterday was show number 3 for me. So I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna stay with her until I know I master it, and then see what happens. If I can do it on my own or not.
Yeah. Okay, congratulations on your 3rd show. That's pretty awesome. It's good. It means it's going. It means it's still going. And so how are you recording? Are you recording doing video calls, or are you in the same area as the people that you're recording with?
Rusty, I'm horrific with technology. Technology is just not my thing. So I know I need to learn it, and I think I'm afraid of it. I'm old age, so I'm afraid of the knowledge and information, and I know I need to get out of that. So Angela records it. I'm learning how to share. I know we're on iHeart, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. So I'm pretty much following her lead on how to share it. But my husband, who is awesome with technology, he shares it everywhere as well. But I just need to catch up to them.
So then that kind of works out. So I mean, yeah, you can learn as you go, but then at the same time, you have someone else who is teaching you one part of it, and then your husband who's able to, take care of everything right there on your end, and be able to share it on social media. Because, like you, I mean, social media for me and a lot of other technology of this is just not something I'm too familiar with, and or really have, not that I don't have time. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on social media, so it just it goes on there, and I hope for the best. But the cool thing is now that with parts like that is that there's stuff to help out. There's other people, and then there's AI stuff to help out. That's going to be, I think, easier and easier to integrate for people like you or myself, who shouldn't be hung up on something, like someone who is a creative like yourself, be able to
Yeah.
just be hung up on something that can just be kind of bypassed now and taken care of, and you can just do it, and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out something that doesn't really matter to you.
Yes.
And you can put more time into your podcast and your writing and other parts of your life, other than trying to learn something can be done kind of automatically and save you a bunch of trouble. So I think that's pretty nice. And so and you're also an author, and have you got to integrate your book with your podcast? Have those two got to come together?
I'm going to implement that soon. My podcast isn't just about authors. Yesterday, I showcased my very first author, but I'm trying to open it to everything that's going on in the world. But I am going to start implementing, my books and other authors' books soon.
So what do you mean with trying to show what's going on? Is that what you said? I'm not sure if that's exactly what you said, but for like your topics for what's going on and wherever in the world, locally or anything. What are you trying to cover?
I'm trying to cover everything, raise awareness on what's going on in the world today, not just be closed-minded, like government, politics, our economy, raising financial literacy, creating generational wealth, the importance of having good credit. So I want to talk about everything: marriage, relationships, how important it is for you to be whole in yourself before you connect with someone else.
I mean,
everything. Music,
that part, yeah, that part right there is really
church.
important. In church, yeah.
Yes.
And so then are you getting, I mean, I guess you're probably not gonna ever run out of guests. I mean, you can always just keep going back to the crew and always have more and more, and someone's gonna be
Yes.
there. And so, are you for what you're trying to get across? Are you searching for guests that are trying to tell some story, or just try to bounce off someone else to be able to, you know, just sort of, come up with ideas or discuss how things work? Is that something there?
That's a good question. I like that question. Um, I love that question. I'm looking for people who have ideas, who have a story to tell. If they need to bounce off of someone else, that would be okay. Like my very first guest was, of course, my husband, who's a
Oh,
serial entrepreneur who does it all. So I had him. Not only did we talk about God, but we talked about the importance of how God wants us to create wealth. Um, my second guest was someone, Dr. Vivian C. Smith, who was raising awareness about human trafficking. And my third guest yesterday was about her books and what she's doing in our community, because we come from the same town in New York. But I have upcoming guests, like a special guest. One of them is going to be my daughter, who has a story to tell, very beautiful, a model, but she wasn't always secure because she has been stalked on 3 different occasions by men. And now she's finally comfortable in the skin she's in. So she started her own lingerie line. Now the church world is tearing her apart, but her mother is a bear. So I'm not going to let no one attack her if they don't know the story of where she
yeah,
comes from. So we're going to share her business. And then I have an upcoming politician who I love. He's a bishop. He's here in North Carolina, but however, he's doing great things in the Fayetteville community. So I have people from all over coming with ideas. And listen, we're just a whole bunch of people trying to, connect together to raise awareness.
yeah. And I like that you had your husband on there as your first guest, because I mean, it's someone that you know already, and like the back and forth is always, you're not going to have a hard time trying to, meet somebody on the first time and not really know what's going to happen. Um, and so you were also saying about, so that you and your husband were talking about, um, with God, um, wanting you to create wealth. Was that, did I say that right?
Yes, I
And
love it.
so what do you mean by that? Like, and like what kind of wealth, how wealth works into your life and your husband's life, and everything else?
So we all read the Bible, right? Everybody is so saved, sanctified, speaking tongues, but broke. Don't have a dollar. They gave their last $20. They speaking in unknown languages, unknown to God, unknown to me. So in the book of Deuteronomy 8:18, it says God gives us the power to produce wealth. So if God gives us the power to produce wealth, then how come we don't have it? How come it's only 1%, right? And how come the church folks are the most let me phrase this right. Majority of the church believers don't have any money. If God wanted me to be rich, he would have created me rich. God created us with gifts and talents. Every single one of us have gifts and talents. So again, think about the people who are prosperous. Think about Job, think about David, think about Solomon, even Jabez, when he asked, and everybody prayed the prayer of Jabez, God, enlarge my territories. So if God wanted us to be broke, God talks about legacy. He talks about a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. What inheritance? Are they going to inherit our debt? So we have to have something. It says in Ecclesiastes 11:2, give a portion to 7 and also to 8, but thou knowest not what evil should be upon the earth. Well, we had the world shut down. I think it was 2019, 2020, COVID hit. So COVID right now is the evil amongst the earth. And meanwhile, a lot of the people in the world all over, a lot of people went into debt, but we started another business. The rich got richer, the poor got poorer. So make sense, right? God doesn't want us to be broke, right? He wants us to be successful. He wants to lead, he wants us to create generational wealth and lead like Walmart, Amazon, Target, Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins, all these great men and women who stand on the Bible principles. They stand on the principles and use them to create wealth. What's our problem?
Right. And I mean, with that, there's so many reasons. I mean, so like if you're not doing that, I mean, it's kind of going against God if you're not trying to produce it. And so why not? Why not? If that's what God wants, why not? Why not at least attempt it and try your best at it? It might not work, and you might have some attempts that don't always get there to the top, but those are sure lessons that you're learning to take to your next one, such as that podcast. If you wouldn't have done that podcast, you wouldn't have known if you would have got into this newer version of your podcast and been hooked up with Angela and everybody else there, and getting to do that if you wouldn't have taken that first step. So I mean, just even taking that first step is a huge one, and that's something I think that I don't know if it's just that that leap of faith or whatever you might call it, just being able to get out of your comfort zone, because not a lot happens when you're in your comfort zone. It's just
yes
it's not gonna help out people down the line. And and I mean, especially during COVID, there was so much selfishness within people, it seemed, and it didn't seem as much as like we're all trying to better ourselves. Like we all had like a great opportunity to do so much right there, and like you did, you went and started your own business. I did the same thing. I had one, and then I mean, I just kind of started another one just for for fun, and that thing took off because I mean, everyone was just wanting to spend that money, but not, I mean, because a lot of people were getting paychecks and stuff for whatever, from either from the state or government or anything, but not a lot of people were reinvesting that in themselves. I mean, I was selling and like reselling stuff, and my sales were large because people were just taking this stuff and just buying this stuff for themselves, just stuff that is just random kind of useless stuff that's not going to help out themselves first, and then help out people around them. And I mean, and like you said, if you can't help out yourself first, you can't help out the people around you. You can try, but it's nothing's gonna turn out well with that one. It's gonna be a good effort, but you're not able to give them anything really, except for so another thing. So with your book, were you writing that during COVID, or was that before?
I did have 2 books come out during COVID, but I've been writing. My first published book came out in 2014, but I used COVID as the opportunity when I saw what my husband was doing. And he's one of the greatest teachers that one of my greatest earthly teachers. So when I saw him, you know, grinding as hard as he was doing, we began to burn the midnight oil. We up, we're working, we have 8 businesses. So we're working, helping people repair their credit, eliminate debt, but starting a trucking company, you know, starting my own personal coaching. And then I'm writing, I'm writing books because COVID, I began COVID with 2 broke feet. So I was laid up and I was in a dark place. I was in a dark place in my life with my being estranged from my mother and her side of her family. So wrote this book, The Preacher's Wife, and then came The Silent Cry. So actually 3 books came out during COVID. And I think those are the 3, actually 4 books came out during COVID. And those are the 4 best books I've written or co-written in. And I'm excited about that because when we go back to debt and leaving a legacy, if you die right now on your job, your kids cannot inherit your job, right? And in that break room, lunchroom, cafeteria, wherever you go, is going to be a paper advertising your job, help wanted. They're going to replace your position as quickly as possible. But when you are a business owner, then you can leave your businesses to your children's children's children. Like Ford is still in existence. Those cars are better than ever before, right? And we have to have that mindset. The rich don't teach their children to go to college. The rich teach their children early on to invest, buy property, right? Utilize your gifts and talents, whatever it is. But where the poor, we teach our children to go to college. Think about it. My children left my home with no debt, right?
Right.
But now by the time they graduate from college, they're in debt because they owe over $100,000 in student loans. Make that make sense?
Yeah. And then so the the business model for schooling was really put in place by I don't remember if it was Rockefeller or someone else that was like Rockefeller. I have to look. It was one of the two. It's Rockefeller or someone else who was like incredibly, wealthy. But I mean, it was basically put in place. It takes 12 years to fully indoctrinate someone with 8 hours a day to teach them how to be basically to be 5 days a week, to be a worker bee. And I mean, they have it set up that way. And then, when you get to go to college, so you can be better and to business, to making you money, why not be the person that's, telling, I wish I wouldn't have gone to college. I think it was, I mean, it gave me a little bit of story for, and maybe put me where I am now. But if I would have had my choice, I would have, left school when I was 16 years old, got my GED and got some, started, I was already kind of working my own business when I was 17. And I mean, I should have just stuck with that, but it was just such this not a pressure of society to go. And then I mean, I was in debt for a little bit. I mean, luckily got out there. I mean, there's a lot of people, it's still, and I mean, that was 20 years ago. So I mean, it's price of schooling's gone up a lot, but I mean, and I wasn't investing. I mean, investing too is a huge thing. And I didn't get into that either until COVID. And then I was like, okay, well, I can invest in myself and invest in other, whatever, invest in stuff. And, it worked out okay. it worked out all right. And so,
Yes.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. It was, yeah, it was something I wish I would have known 20 years earlier instead of wasting my money on a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been spending money on and just sort of, living. But, um, so I mean, and yeah, you have your kids, and and with you said, like, with your daughter, being able to have her get in and turn something that had kind of sounded like it wasn't hurting her, but it was making stuff harder with her, and being able to take that
Yeah.
and really just take it all in, and then be able to use that to make a business, which is something that's gonna, I mean, obviously mean a lot to her too, and can put a lot into it. Um, and so, what did she come to you and your husband about that? About that, saying she was wanting to start a business, or she just went out one day and said, "I'm starting a business"?
So what happened is all of my daughters are entrepreneurs and majority of my grandchildren are entrepreneurs.
Love it.
So she didn't come to, that daughter didn't come to me per se, but two other of my daughters did because they saw what we were doing. This particular daughter has a college degree and she wasn't working in the field of her college degree, but her boyfriend is a serial entrepreneur as well. And together, the things that they created, and it was a passion of hers. And she turned a bad situation into a profitable situation. And like you said, I wish I would have known better because I didn't come from the lineage of wealth. My parents were hardworking. My mother was a struggling single mother, alcoholic. Life really did its thing with her. So there was no one to teach me or have these type of conversations. I didn't even really understand what entrepreneurship was about until I married my husband. And it would be 10 years. So within these last 10 years, even though I was comfortable in my job, had a nice salary, but it wasn't enough. So now that I understand the importance, I'm fighting every day to make sure that I leave a positive impact in this world so my children's children will understand who Grandma E was.
I like that. I like that a lot. Uh, and I mean, they don't teach that stuff in school. They don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur, go out and get it yourself, and that you can do that. And then it's, I mean, that I hope that that kids now are able to, I mean, if we had what they had, to be able to go and listen to one of your shows, or go and watch YouTube videos about learning that, or learning some other skill, and that there's other ways to do stuff. I mean, yeah, we had, I don't know, we had some books, but it was what we had at the library, or whatever was at school. And so there wasn't a lot of books on doing it yourself. And I think I mean, even now, I mean, I think you still need someone to be able to mentor you and get you
Yes,
that, but you can even still do, get a little bit of your foot in the door by doing some stuff on your own, just from what listening to someone like you or your husband, or Angela, um and just, yeah, being able to really understand that, yes, I can do this, and I can make my own wealth, make my own life, and I'm not
right.
stuck to something else. And so, um do you do any speaking, like any public speaking at all?
I do. I do. In my community, in the churches around, branching out to now getting involved in schools, especially in the community where I come from, to give the younger generation hope, to let them know that they don't have to do it the way that their parents did it, because they lack understanding. I don't know about you or your parents or your family, but again, I come from a family of my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had his own oil company. I do not know why none of his children did not follow in his steps. I just don't get it. Why they prefer to go punch a clock for someone and make our streams become more wealthier while they're tired. And I look at them today and they're bitter, they're scarred, they're mad, and most of them are broke. And I'm like, those are the choices they made. And because they lack understanding, they often kill our dreams. I've always wanted to be a singer. And instead of having someone encourage me, I always heard, shut that noise up. You sound like a cackling hen, because that was their fear, because they didn't have the faith. You said it earlier, the leap of faith, to say that this is what I'm going to do. So because they lack wisdom and understanding and knowledge, they killed my dreams. Right. And now, before I go to any church, I need you to come and sing. I'm like, wow, if I would have listened, and I did, I listened to the people who assassinated me. I listened to the people who spoke death into me. And now I refuse to do that with any of my daughters. You can do whatever you want to do. Go ahead. I prefer you to work for yourself than to work for someone else. I prefer you to make your own money, because I came with that scripture, Ecclesiastes 11:2, give a portion to 7 and also to 8, but thou knowest not what evil should be upon earth. God wants us to have the minimum to 7 to 8 streams of income.
Oh, I lost your I lost your sound. I don't know if you hit something or what. But there we go. Okay, you're back. Okay, yeah. So I missed that last part.
Okay, so I forgot what I was saying. No, I was saying that God wants us to have 7 to 8 streams of income coming in. So this way, if something happens like COVID, we didn't panic, because we know we had this business. We know we had money coming in here. I knew money sales from my books. I know from my publishing company, from our trucking company, from our credit company. We had money coming in. So it's important.
How often did people tell you that you should only do one of those?
So many, I've heard that my whole entire life. Erika, you can only do one thing at a time. So I got stuck listening, trusting people who had their own issues, didn't know who they were. But these were my role models, because I didn't get that from my family. But now today, I'm like the blood of Jesus. There's 24 hours in a day. I need to utilize my time. So that means I have to get up early in the morning to begin my day. I do it. If that means I have to stay up late at night, I do it. I have clients that I meet with 2 o'clock in the morning. I have clients that I meet with 4:30 in the morning. I have clients that I meet with 11 o'clock at night, because if they hired me as their coach, which they do, then I'm available to you. My coaches, our coaches, there are millionaire coaches. They were available to us. And because we were coachable and teachable and we followed their instructions down to the T, we got the same result. Now, we don't have millions of dollars yet, but we're not far from it.
Yeah, and you're on the track to do it, and you're
Yes,
much further than you
yes.
were before, and you've taken that first step. If you've taken that first
Yeah.
step, you're already on your way.
Come on.
If you're on your way. All you said, just keep on doing what you're doing, and it's works out pretty well. And so what's your coaching? So where'd you get your coaching from?
So
yeah, go ahead.
So we was a part of Eric Thomas, the ET, the hip hop preacher. We was a part of his coaching and mentoring. Then we're a part of a business called My Econ, that stands for Our Economy, My Economy. Our coaches, which were thousands themselves, both Mr. Alvin Curry and Mr. Ivy Stokes, based out of Georgia, they took us under their wings and began to coach us. Our business coaches from South Carolina was Coach Eric and his wife Dorothy McKinley. They taught us how to not start businesses and put everything in our personal credit, but to create business income. So our trucking company was thriving. We paid off our truck, one of our trucks. So, God is good. So those are our mentors, and we listen. We paid good money, but we sit and we listen and we learn.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, you can pay money all day, but if you're not listening, you're not learning. They're obviously doing something right. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, hopefully everyone can learn from it and better themselves, because I mean, that's something that I think is important to do as well. Like if someone helped you out at some point, you should want to do that for someone else who, in whatever, way you want to take that. Be able to, yeah, kind of pass that on to somebody else and
That's right.
in some way. Like, I mean, I don't know. I had like a psychiatrist therapist, and
Okay.
like she never charged me money one time to go to her. And I didn't know this until afterwards, and I just was like, I never got a bill. It's like, yeah, then she let me, so I went in there after I busted my knee, and I basically had to stop doing all my physical activity, my jobs, everything. And I got depressed, and I went in there, and she got me into hypnosis, and then was able to like rent out office space for me whenever I wanted to for free. And so,
Ooh.
I mean, with that, like I've always been, I try to do something like that if I can. I mean, I that always will stick with me, of something that someone didn't have to do it for me, but if I can help people out like that, I'd sure like to. Or if I can teach people how to do a lot of stuff, like if I can help, it's good to keep passing it down, not just keep it for yourself. And
That's right.
help the people around you have
That's
a
right.
better life, and give their kids a better life. And I was talking about this too in one of my other recent podcasts. Like, a lot of people have a lot of different takes on a lot of stuff, a lot of viewpoints, a lot of different backgrounds, and what they think, what they like. But and there's always so much, division of, everybody, but there's not a lot of trying to find the common ground. And I think the common ground is everybody, at least you have this, that everybody wants the future generations to have it better than what we have. And I mean, no matter how much you disagree with somebody else, you're going to probably still agree on that. And so that's something, yeah, I kind of like that one. And so, so then, yeah, so are you, okay, so I had a couple questions for your writing. So your writing, was it just write as you go, or did you outline it first, or was it just write as you go? And then was this on paper, or was it on random napkins, or was it on a computer, a typewriter, chisel and some stone? What did you like to write on, or to do that on?
in the beginning, remember I said I'm old age, so in the beginning, I've been writing since I was a little kid, and I would write in
Wow.
notebooks, position notebooks, and I would write for entertainment, and I would share with my friends, and they'd be like, "Oh, girl, you need to publish a book one day." But remember, I come from that generation. You ain't talented, you ain't gifted. So I would refuse because I don't know how to type. So I would refuse to even mess with the typewriter or computer. But something happened in my life back in 2005 that I just got on that computer and I began to write. So God is always downloading in me. And I was in a place in my life with my now estranged mother who just, God bless her, just God bless her, the hurt and the pain that she just bestowed upon me. And not even knowing that she was responsible for my current situation, what I was going through with my daughters and my soon to be ex-husband, where they done took me to court, CPS was called. I'm facing all these allegations and I was hurt because if anybody who knows me know, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Listen, I'm not breaking no law intentionally, So when I was faced with this situation, I just took to the computer and I just started writing. So my first book, A Mother's Time to Heal, came to life in 2005, but I did nothing with it until 2009. I finally got it edited. And then I did nothing with it again until 2013 when I met my now husband. And it was prophesied, you're going to write books, you're going to write lots of books, Erika. But I just didn't believe in myself. So I don't write on napkins and like that. But if I'm someplace and if I get a thought, I have a notebook app in my phone and I may put the title or put a name of a chapter, jot down something real quick, and then I'll go from there. But usually I never know which direction I'm going. I just sit down, I just pray, say, God, have your way. And then I write the book.
And yeah, just then you can always, yeah, go back and edit it, but you're getting out what needs to get out, and it's coming from, yeah, after a while, it gets, from your subconscious and what you really
Yes.
are thinking and feeling and inside yourself. And that's when the magic happens. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah, and so if people are going to find you and your work online, where are they going to go?
They're going to go to Amazon. I'm on Amazon. You can find me under Erika T. Moore. That's Erika, Erika T. Moore. They can find me on my website, which is www.erikatmoore. They can find me on Google Play. I forget where my husband has me at. Kubu, something. I forget. He has me on different platforms. But most of all, they can find me on Facebook or Instagram, sharing, my work, because I want to just be inspirational to everyone, especially those who are sexual assault survivors,
Sure.
So I definitely want to be a light of ray, a beacon of hope for everyone that has gone through some type of trauma in their life. And even though they may laugh at my books because I'm funny, I like to think I'm funny, but I'll be like, those are that really happened to me. They'd be like, get out of here. I'll be like, yeah, that happened to me. So that's where they can find me.
And
Instagram, or huh?
how much did that help when you were able to write that out? Was it something that you just hadn't ever really gotten a chance to talk about before, and writing it was the first time you've got to get it out, or was it?
When I first started writing, when I wrote A Mother's Time to Heal, I was hurt because of the accusations from my children and my ex-husband. I was strict. I have 5 girls, single parent. I was strict. You're not going to have the life that I had. And they turned on me and I was hurt, not even realizing that I was hurting. I too have a therapist who I love, 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 love. Meet with her twice a month if I can. And it would be 2020 when COVID began. I never revealed who my assaulter was. I did once when I was 16 and my mother called me a liar. Never asked me a question, never
Wow.
asked me what happened, but she called me a liar, which is her son. Her son, my half brother, is my abuser. Well, my mother's my abuser too, because together they were beat me. So not knowing that I learned.
Oh, I lost your sound again. But okay. I hope you can hear this. But yeah, whatever you did last time, I lost your sound. There you go.
Can
Okay,
you
so
hear
I
me
missed
now?
that last part. Yeah, I missed that last part.
Okay. So not knowing that I was hurting on the inside, my therapist began to help me work it out because all of my characters in all my books were about me. Even though there may have been 5 characters, main characters, they were all a part of a stage in my life. So writing in 2020, when I finally told my truth, when I finally was able to accept my truth, my mother hates me. And this is why this evil was brought upon me. I was like, oh, shoot, whoever my father is, I don't know who he is. Whoever my biological father is, I I bear the grunt of whatever he did to her or they did to each other. It was taken out on me. So therapy came in. Oh my God, I'm in therapy. I'm crying like a baby. I need help. And I finally got the help that I didn't know that I needed. And now it helped me a lot. So now when I write, I'm now intentional. If I'm going to write about any type of sexual trauma or domestic violence, the outline is in my mind. So now I have a clear purpose of what I want my readers to take away from what I'm writing. I'm not writing because I'm hurting now. Now I'm writing to help other people get healed and set free.
I love it. I love it. And yeah, Erica, I'm so happy we got to talk and I got to meet you. And I already knew it was going to be good once you told me that you're with the crew. So it worked out okay, and you lived up to it. So everybody follow Erica, go to her website, check out her book, go to Amazon and get it. And yeah, thanks again for listening, everybody. And
Thank you for having me.
Erica, yeah, you're very welcome, and have a great rest of your day.
You too now, Rusty. Bye
All right.
now.
Bye-bye. All right, you guys, that's Erica. She was awesome. Like I said, man, the crew, if you look up them, they're great. Like I said, I think she was a 6th person from their group that I've had on. And yeah, every one of them have just been so nice. They all have this like this crazy positivity, and just you can tell they're in a good place and happy. And so it's really nice to be able to talk with them and get to hear their stories. So yeah, everyone. So you guys like, share, subscribe, download, listen. There's 365 other episodes of this. And you can go on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network and check out my other podcasts or anything else. I don't know, go to rustydiamond.net, and everything else I'll tell you about is be in the show notes. So that is the show, man.
It's Rusty Diamond.